Hey, hey, hey. This light is extra bright right now. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. It is day 2. All right, I'm trying to do some adjusting here, so bear with me. All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Day 2 of the $1 Million Baby Plan series. Thank you all for joining me. If you all are new here, I am LC, the owner of LC Financial Solutions, where we help our clients maximize their wealth, minimize their taxes, and master their legacy. And on today's special, we will be talking about, again, the $1 Million Baby Plan, right? Turning that broke bestie into your rich bestie. And my rich bestie's in the background acting a fool right now. As soon as I get on live, they want to get to acting a fool. And so tonight's conversation is going to be based on the difference between hoping and planning for your child's future, right? Because we always hope to be financially stable for our children. We always hope for the best, but if we plan for the best, sometimes planning can outweigh the hoping. Thank you all for tuning in. Day 2 of the $1 Million Baby Plan series. If you are in the room, I see some people coming in and out. Go ahead and drop $1 Million Baby, so I know that you are here with me tonight. And as I mentioned, excuse me, the difference between hoping and planning for your child's future is honestly a conversation, right? Bigger than a what if, bigger than just insurance. Is really a mindset overall, because a lot of us, we love our kids deeply. We want the best for them, but nobody has really taught us what that planning looks like for our children's future. Hey, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Come on in, come on in. I am talking about the difference between hoping and planning for your child's future, day 2 of the $1 Million Baby Plan. And as I told you all before, I do not plan to be on here alone, just get you all the information that is valuable to you all. And like I said before, we are talking about hoping versus planning. And so, as I mentioned, most people are doing the best that they can with what they know, right? Especially in this day and age, it's a lot of things going on. But tonight, I want us to think a little differently. Sorry, somebody was calling. I want us to think a little differently when it comes to planning versus hoping. And so the difference between, of course, planning and hoping, when you hope everything works out right. And when you are planning, you are creating something for their future with a timeline. And so don't get me wrong, hope is beautiful. Hope is a beautiful thing. But hope doesn't get you what you want, right? And sometimes neither does the plan, but at least if you have a plan, then you have something to follow along with and not just reaching for the stars. Everything that we plan out, even not only for our kids, but for ourselves, we want something that we can write down and have tangible, because you can always put it in your mind. But the thing with putting stuff in your mind, you're going to forget, right? And so that's why we plan, write down everything. That way we can have an actual tangible item and see what our goals are that we are trying to achieve. And so, again, when it comes to creating a plan for your family, we want to be able to put in place something that we can create for them. We don't want to just hope for the best. We want to plan for the best, right? But again, hope without preparation can leave your family stressed, overwhelmed, trying to figure out things during hard moments, right? Planning says, I love my family enough to prepare, right? I want my children to be protected. I want options in place, right? I want to build something differently. That's what comes to mind when I think about planning. And so, again, as I mentioned yesterday, a lot of us were just taught to, work, retire, and that's it, right? A lot of us were never taught, growing up, how to plan for the future, how to build a trust, how to create that generational wealth. And so we are the ones who are trying to figure that out. And again, as I mentioned before, we do not want to keep saying our broke besties. We want to say our rich besties, because we want to speak that into existence. We want to manifest, right, that our kids will be rich and wealthy, strong and healthy. And so, as I mentioned before, that this is really near and dear to my heart, because again, I am a mother, and being a mother of two for almost 5 years has definitely taught me how life goes by fast. Once you have children, you really stop thinking about yourself, right? You start thinking about what happened if you're not going to be here, what happens if I can't provide for them financially. Will my children be okay without me, right? And that's a real conversation. And so by having that, we want to again plan, right? Because of course, planning equals protection, right? Protection equals really love, because once protect your family, that's showing like, hey, I love you all, right? And earlier, as I mentioned, we really have to start thinking about these things, because a lot of us live in the moment. Hey, hey, if you see me looking to the side, I have my chat over here, so I'll be able to see you all on my chat. Thank you all for joining again, day 2 of the $1 Million Baby Plan. I'm super excited. And moving forward, so I wanted to also talk about wealthy families, right? Thinking long term, because you don't have to come from wealth to actually have wealth, right? You can build wealth, even if building wealth means starting with $20 a month, right? $10 a month, wherever you can start from, that is how you build wealth. You don't necessarily have to have $10,000 to feel like, okay, well, let me get $10,000 and then I can start building. No, get $10, right? And start building. You don't always have to skip steps and skip levels. And honestly, that's what I'm learning in life. It's literally levels to everything, and it's okay not to skip a level. It's okay not to skip a step and actually take that step by step to actually plan and prepare, for not only yourself but for your family. And one thing I've noticed with wealthy families is that they often think long term, right? They don't always wait until their children are adults to start planning. We shouldn't do that either. We should be planning now while our children are young, while they're in good health, right? Because just say something happens to them. We see commercials all the time with children who may have had cancer or some type of diabetes or some type of pre-existing condition that really stops a parent from working, and they have to provide for their children. And they're like, wow, I never thought this could happen to my child. And so once we start to plan and protect for that long term, we can really see how that can work for us in the future. And again, I know a lot of stuff is going on in the world. So a lot of us are just thinking for today, but we also need to think for tomorrow. And also, when it comes to wealthy families, things that I notice, again, like I said, they don't always put things aside. They handle it right then and there. They have trust funds. They think about legacy, protection, future opportunities, ownership for their children. Even going to school, some cultures say, hey, you're going to grow up and be a doctor, right? Or whether you like it or not, this is what you're going to be. This is what we have planned for you. This is how it's going to work. And usually, sometimes children may not want to go with the plan that their parent has for them. But again, their parent has set that plan in place, not only for love, but for protection as well. And meanwhile, a lot of regular families are just trying to survive day to day, month by month. And, it's no shame in survival because a lot of us are in survival mode, but we also have to think past that survival mode because once we start living day by day, month by month on survival, then guess what? 5, 10 years from now, we're still going to be living that same way. You don't have to be perfect to get started to build wealth. Again, like I said, you can start with $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever your budget allows for you to go ahead and start planning and thinking for your future. And a lot of us come from, survival mode. Me, myself, I came from survival mode. I didn't come from, a wealthy, rich family. And so we had to figure things out. I had to figure things out. And a lot of us come from that. And so when we want to change how we have our children grow up, we just can't think of, okay, well, my kids are going to be in a better neighborhood or my kids are going to have a Christmas every year like I didn't have. Like, yeah, that's great. But then that's still not planning for them for their future when they are adults. I feel like once kids become adults and turn 18 after graduating high school and prom, I do feel like that is the hardest time between the ages of 18 and 21 of figuring out what is your child going to do? How are they going to survive? What is their plan? But if you have one set up for them, it could be a little easier. Now, whether they're going to follow that plan or not, that's a whole different conversation. And so again, planning looks different for everyone, right? So now planning does not mean being rich already, having everything figured out, being perfect. Planning can simply mean starting a conversation, learning your options, getting protection in place, thinking ahead, and planting that seed now for later. I think about that when I have my garden. As a lot of you all know, I have my strawberry garden. And so when you plant that seed, you're not going to get I'm not going to get my strawberries overnight, right? I had to work to grow those strawberries, right? Not only did I have to plant the seed, well, actually, I started from a flower, but that's neither here nor there. Not when I planted it, though, I didn't have a strawberry the next day, right? I had to go out there and trim the weeds. I had to make sure I watered it, fertilize it. And so it takes time, but once you plant that seed, it definitely will start to grow. And every big legacy starts with a small decision. It only takes you that one time to say, hey, you know what? I want something different. I want that old new money, right? I want to have old new money. I want old new money. I can't help it. I love that term, old new money. I want old new money. And you should want old new money too, not only for yourself, but for your children and their children, so we can start having this generational wealth and use these services, or not even services, but use these plans that are put in place that typically the wealthy only keeps to themselves, right? And a lot of times we steer away from that because we may not feel that we are wealthy. We may not feel that, okay, we can start a trust or we can start putting up money for a savings account or even an emergency fund. Half Americans, over 70% of Americans right now, do not have $2,000 in a savings account because again they are in survival mode. They are in that month to month, day to day, I'm just trying to make it day by day. But if you continue or even start to plant that seed, to plan and protect for your family, you will be able to create generational wealth for, again, not only you but your children. And that's what it's all about, especially again through this 21-day series, and I'm on day 2 of that. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. And one thing I want parents to understand is Do not wait until life is perfect to start planning. I had a mentor tell me before, done is better than perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to wait until all your ducks are in a row to get something started. Start with that one duck. Start planning and protecting with that one duck, right? And as I mentioned, we want to plan for our children's future, plan for our future. We still have goals and dreams that we want to accomplish when it comes to creating that $1 million baby plan, right? We want our own $1 million plan. And we far from babies, right? But we still want that $1 million plan. And really all it takes is for you to go ahead, plant that seed. And so tonight's question is that I want you all to answer. It doesn't have to be in the chat, but just answer to yourself. Are we only hoping for the best, or are we creating a plan for our children's future and for our future? Because again, we still have hopes and dreams. We still have things that we want to accomplish. And we sometimes put that to the sideline for our children so we can create that better life for our children. But again, when creating that better life for your children, always think about generational wealth. What can I do now to help them out in the future, right? And so that is it for tonight. I'm not going to keep you all long. It's 7:30 on a Tuesday. If you have not, or if you are not watching this live, go ahead and put replay in the hashtag. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns about $1 million baby plan and want to know more details, go ahead and drop baby in the chat. Send me a DM. As you all know, my 24-hour text line, 630-278 3272. And tomorrow's night conversation, which will be day 3 of the $1 Million Baby Plan, is can you really protect your child for about $1 a day? And baby, when I tell you, I already know y'all gonna have a lot of questions about that one because $1 a day, like, wait, hold on, how we building $1 million baby plan off $1 a day? But I will let you know that tomorrow, so make sure that you all tune in tomorrow at 7:30 Central. And again, if you all have any questions, comments, or concerns, whether it's about the $1 Million Baby Plan, taxes, business, financing, budgeting, go ahead and shoot me a DM or text my 24-hour text line at 630-278-3272. And if you are watching this, catching it live or replay, go ahead and drop baby plan in the chat so I know that you all was here. And I hope you all have a wonderful Taco Tuesday, even though I ate fish today. But have a wonderful Taco Tuesday, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 7:30. Good night.